Now we hear Rahul Shah, Built Environment Development Director, BSI Group Deutschland. Top tips for better information management, improving efficiencies and reducing waste. Mr. Shah, thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. My apologies for two things. One is not able to be with you in person due to some reasons, so I would be delivering the session remotely. And the second is, delivering it in English. So sorry about that. So please bear with me for the session, and let me know if you have any questions throughout. As the host explained, I work for a company called British Standards Institution. I work out of London, UK, and I work within the built environment sector across the EMEA region. But today is more about building information modeling. But before we dive into that, I thought I'd touch upon this why. And many of the previous speakers actually highlighted the importance of sustainability, circular economy, and so forth. So we know that the biggest challenge the humanity is facing today is the climate change. It's a global emergency, really, and we all know that the impact of built environment has, on overall climate challenge in terms of our use of raw material, our use of the sector, built environment sector's use of water, energy, and so forth is tremendous. It's fueling that climate challenge. I think as a sector, collectively, we have a great opportunity in front of us to impact and help with this global emergency. And many of the speakers touched upon, how digitalization is supporting this overall climate challenge and sustainability and circularity. And there are many ways how digitalization can and is already supporting in that initiative. And there are many initiatives globally as well as regionally and locally in terms of improving our position on sustainability and climate change. And the largest global campaign, Race to Zero, led by UN and various thousands of businesses and regions and cities around the world, part of this global initiative. Many of you would know, the SDG goals and 17 SDG Sustainable Development Goals, and how we can support the world with respect to, the development that is sustainable and resilient. There is also, I don't know if you are familiar with the recent ISO, annual meeting and the launch of our 2050 World website and initiative around London Declaration, whereby also influencing the current as well as future standards, how we use them, and incorporating sustainability related elements as part of the standardization processes as well. Excuse me. So many speakers already outlined to you, and many of you in the room or globally connected remotely. I guess one of the reasons why you are here at this conference is because you may have heard about BIM and the very benefits BIM offers, and I'm sure you would have heard from many of the speakers, today, the benefits that BIM offers, in terms of not only at your business level, but also to your supply chain and to the wider industry. The low-hanging fruit of BIM, as we heard from many speakers today, also is about, improving productivity, being more efficient, being more productive in what you do, whether you are an architect, whether you're an engineer, main contractor, subcontractor, how can you sort of make your processes even better? If you're an asset owner or facility manager, how can you improve your processes in terms of, managing the assets in terms of, first of all, getting a better quality assets, throughout the design, construction, and so forth. And so there are many benefits of BIM we heard today. So I'm not going to go through the benefits again, because I think it was very clear so far in the conference that there are plenty of benefits that BIM can offer if used properly and implemented properly. So what I thought I focus on today in my conversation is share some of the practical sort of tips how when I was working with architects, main contractors, and asset developers in the UK and in the Middle East, how BIM helped us and the supply chain in terms of implementing BIM. So I thought I'd share those 5 tips, practical tips with you in terms of how to go about implementing BIM within your organization. And first and foremost, I'd like to say is that treat BIM as a process, not as a technology. Now, I know, more often than not, people think BIM as a software technology or hardware and start with them. There is nothing wrong in starting with technology, but make sure that you treat BIM as a process and try and incorporate this whole information management process as part of your business processes, and try and improve collaboration, communication, and consistency in terms of managing information throughout your project and asset lifecycle. So I think that's the number one first tip I would like to share with you, that it's not a siloed technology effort in terms of implementing 3D object-based modeling and adding a little bit of information to it. It is broader than that, and treat it as a process. And try and define that process within your organization. Try and integrate that process as part of your business management system. Because ultimately, this whole information management through BIM that we are trying to do should and must feed into your business management and decision-making system. So you have to treat it as a process and try and integrate as part of your business management system in order to improve collaboration, communication, and consistency, not only within your business only, but also throughout your project stakeholders group, as well as within the industry. So that's number one tip I'd like to share with you, that if you are in the, on the journey of implementing BIM, treat BIM as a process. Second tip I'd like to share with you from my own experience is that sometimes people say that, oh, well, on the majority of the projects that we are working on, a client is not asking for BIM. But actually, I would like to request you to review your position on that, because it is not about client asking BIM. It is more about you yourself, questioning and reviewing your own business strategy and see whether or not you want to actually be more efficient, be more productive, right? And also lead by example in your region, in your field, wherever you operate in. So it's about being more proactive in terms of the future trends, in terms of where the world is moving toward. Is more digitalization. It's more capturing that design information, construction information, procurement information, right at the early stages, rather than retrospectively turning papers into digital information later on. So the second tip is about, don't wait to be asked to use BIM, because globally BIM adoption is exponentially increasing, and many companies are benefiting by BIM implementation in their businesses alone, being more productive, being more efficient, let alone the supply chain wide and the project wide benefits, right? So that's my second tip to you today, that don't wait for BIM to be asked, start implementing just for your own benefits. And the third tip, based on the experience I had in early years when I was at architectural practices implementing BIM, we had the less education and awareness on the client sides and on the the construction supply chain side, and we ended up actually engaging in educating and training not only clients but also construction supply chain and the wider supply chain as well, because BIM, I'm sure most of you would know by now, the BIM is more about a collaborative process. You can gain maximum benefits by having engagement by wider stakeholders, right? So for you to reap the maximum benefit, it is in your advantage to actually support your clients and your supply chain to get the best out of your own BIM investment. So engage in some form of sort of education and training exercises with your supply chain and the clients as well. The fourth one is, and I think one of the earlier speakers after lunch, if I'm not wrong, mentioned, and I heard, I don't know German language very well, but I heard change management as word a few times, and it is right that treat BIM implementation in your organization, in your company, as a change management process and as a change management, because it is a change and how traditionally businesses worked and employees worked and the staff engaged with design and construction information or facility management information versus how you could do that in using a common data environment, the collaborative processes using BIM, right? So approach BIM as a change management process and integrate it as I said earlier, as part of your business strategy, your business management systems. Slowly, of course, not to begin with, because you still need to develop your own, BIM maturity, and learning and protocols and procedures. But as you mature in your BIM journey, try and integrate that as part of your business strategy and management processes. And the last but not the least, practical tip from me as well, that try and use international standards such as ISO 19650 to optimize your processes. So when you focus on BIM as a process, the very next question one could ask is that, okay, how do I leverage the global good practice in defining BIM process? How do I know what good looks like in terms of BIM process, right? If you were to treat BIM as a process. And the answer to that is that look at the international standard, because there has been a tremendous amount of efforts invested into developing globally recognized good practice in the form of ISO 19650. And there are ISO 19650 part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 now available. So you have a full suite of standards available to actually benefit from the early design stage or defining and briefing stage all the way through to design, construction, into operations and asset management, as well as security as well. How do you go about actually managing the security of your information that you captured throughout your design, construction, and facility management? So this ISO 19650 suite of standards are a really great resource for you to define your processes. So just to summarize from my side, these are the key, practical sort of tips I thought I'd share with you from my own personal experience implementing BIM, but also in my current role in BSI and working globally with clients in various regions. These are the 5 tips quite handy for you and your clients and supply chain if they are on the journey of implementing BIM. So with that, I would like to sort of stop here 2 minutes earlier than the brief I was given. If you have any questions or queries, happy to hear them now or in the chat box, or you can write to me or my colleague Philip, who is based in Germany, and we would be happy to actually engage with you and help you in your BIM journey. So thank you very much, Dr. Joseph. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. Thank you for this amazing presentation.